What's going on, guys, and welcome to the guide. My name is Valerio, and before we get into the video today, I wanted to remind you guys of a couple of things. First off, in the description you can find a link to our Discord server, and you can join a community of like-minded individuals who are also trying to get better at the game. But not only that, I would also suggest following our Instagram page that we launched very recently. We've been doing player reviews, we've been doing squad reviews with those players, we've also been doing weekly stories with goal competitions, and we look at the team of the weeks and the promos and we give our thoughts. So definitely come check us out on Instagram as well. That being said, today we're going to be focusing on the offensive part of your game, and more specifically with Wingplay. A lot of people might struggle and be stuck in the same repetitive motions offensively, and a lot of these people might be attacking straight down the middle. So today we're going to cover Wingplay, and I want to go through a few things that might help you feel more confident on the wing and give you guys the options to mix it up and attack down the flanks. One thing I did wanted to mention is that the clips and examples you'll be seeing in this video come from my personal custom tactics and preferred formations. And for the record, I like to run a 4-2-3-1 narrow and a 4-4-2. In the 4-2-3-1 narrow, I leave my fullbacks on stay back, I tell my CDMs to cover the center and stay back while attacking, and I leave the front four untouched. My defensive and offensive mentalities are both on balance, but the most important thing is that I use 6 to 7 bars of width offensively. When it comes to the 4-4-2, not much changes. As for the instructions, once again, only the center mids and the fullbacks have anything on them, that being cover center and stay back on the CMs, and stay back while attacking on the fullbacks. So if you're someone who plays the narrow formation like the diamond, that is the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, you might find this tough to implement, as only your fullbacks will be on the wing. You could put drift wide on your striker, but nonetheless, I think this could still be something you implement for a plan B formation like the 4-4-2 or like the 4-2-3-1. So without further ado, let's look at 3 aspects of Wingplay that are a must and that have to be implemented to feel confident when building up and attacking on the wing. Being good at Wingplay doesn't only mean you'll be able to score tons of goals cutting back from the wing. It also means being able to build up on the wing, be it with your fullback or your outside midfielders, and just feel comfortable in that general wide area. But whether it's just to advance further up the field or to create a chance, one way to improve playing on the wing is to visualize triangles between your players. Arguably, this is helpful all over the pitch, but in the middle of the field you might not have as much time. On the wing you will, and you should also find more space to exploit. In this example, by using the concept of visualizing triangles between my players, I'm able to advance up the pitch and create a deadly chance in the same play. The first triangle comfortably pushes our team up the field. Consider it a way to gain free ground, but also a way to plan 2 passes at once rather than just one at a time. The second triangle initiates the chance creation phase, and it sets us up to start moving the ball back in the center when the right gap is formed. Over time, you'll soon be able to memorize plenty of patterns involving these triangles, and it'll constantly give you free opportunities to move up the field, or in the best case, create a chance when cutting inside. As useful as triangles are, sometimes they aren't perfectly set up for you. Sometimes you're going to have to manually direct your players to certain areas so new triangles can be created or new spaces can be exploited. To do this, you can either manually trigger runs or call players short depending on the situation. We have covered both features on the channel in certain videos, but as a refresher, to trigger a run, you're going to press L1 on PlayStation or LB on Xbox, all the while pointing your left stick to whoever you're trying to send on a run. Same concept, but different button for when you want to call players short. You're going to press R1 on PlayStation or RB on Xbox, again all the while pointing your left stick towards the player you want to approach you. When it comes to Wingplay, mastering the art of directing your players is really important to make sure you don't reach a dead end with no options. Sometimes your players might be running away from you when what you need is the exact opposite, and in this case, our winger is running into space, but I felt that the opposing fullback was too close and too wide for me to go for a through ball down the line. All I want is a simple pass into the winger without giving the ball away easily to the fullback who is way too close to him. So by calling my winger short, I am able to gain an outlet and release my player from the pressure of the opposing defender. An even more extreme case here where, again, if we take a look at the minimap this time, my winger is way too close to the opposing fullback. So to make the combination on the wing more safe, I call my winger short to get him away and thus under less pressure. As you can see, this creates a triangle between my players on the wing and allows me via Wingplay to further myself and the team up the field. If calling players short allows you to safely make combination plays and pull players away from defenders, triggering runs will let you attack space and feed the center from the wing. In this case, we're on the wing and we need CR7 to attack the space ahead of him. He's already running the right way, but we need him to shift gears. And to do that, we trigger the run and we direct him with a manually triggered run. Though Ronaldo is already running in the right direction, the triggered run allows you to give the runner in the middle an edge over the opposing defenders, making it extremely easy to set the stage to cut on the inside from the wing. Skill moves are the cherry on top of the concepts discussed so far, and there's so many of them in the game, but you only need to know a few good ones, especially with dealing with wing play. So let's discuss the 3 best skill moves to use when on the wing. The berba spin is a 4-star skill move that, despite its ups and downs, has been a staple in FIFA when it comes to cutting inside from the wing for years. First off, to perform it, you will always start by first flicking your right stick in the direction that you are running, and then flicking it either up or down depending on where you want to exit. This skill move excels when you notice you're playing someone who overcommits when chasing you down at full speed on the wing. You can make a direct turn into the inside, and so if you can pull off the turn from the wing, you'll find yourself in great positions. The downside, of course, is that it isn't too difficult to stop. Consider it an almost moderate risk, high reward type of deal. On top of that, once initiated, the move takes a little bit to fully execute. So again, it leaves a moderately large window of opportunity for your opponent to tackle you. However, that is only if he can read it, of course. mcgeady spin is basically the 5-star skill version of the berba spin, and the difference of course lies with 5-star players being able to perform this in a much more rapid animation. To perform it, the commands are exactly the same as the berba spin, except you'll need a 5-star skiller. It's also worth mentioning that if you want to perform a berba spin with a 5-star skiller, make sure you're sprinting and holding L2 or Alt on your console. Nonetheless, with the mcgeady spin, you'll be able to exit the skill in a much quicker rate than with the berba spin, which is good in the sense that your opponents will have a smaller window of opportunity to tackle you. The downside, of course, is that it is required in different situations than the berba spin. So either your opponent has to be right on you as you perform it, or he has to be far enough where you still have a touch to take as you exit, because anything in between will result in an easy dispossession, but it still remains a great move to cut inside. The 3-touch roulette might be the overall best skill move to use on the wing when trying to cut inside. First, to perform it while holding down LT or L2, using at least a 4-star skiller, flick your right stick to the opposite direction to where you're running, and then flick up or down depending on where you want to exit. Compared to the berba spin and the mcgeady spin, you don't exit straight upwards into the box, so if you compare the best case scenario for all 3, this one might not be as lethal. However, this one leaves a lot more room for error because the animation in itself puts your players back between defenders and the ball, so you're much more likely to be able to complete this skill move more regularly without any error. Even if the defender tracks you well, you'll usually still be able to make a pass backwards, and if he doesn't, you'll obviously be able to attack the box. Overall, it might have less rewards, but it also carries a lot less risk. Excluding Wingplay from your game is a complete waste, as becoming familiar with exploiting that space will allow you to add variety to your gameplay. Eventually, you'll play a game where the center is crowded or your opponent reads you to perfection, so changing things up is a must. When dealing with playing on the wing, it all starts with becoming familiar with triangles between your players, because as we discussed, it'll allow you to find patterns that both move your team up the pitch and give you depth to attack towards the corner flag. Directing your players by calling them short and triggering runs takes it to the next level, as you won't be as dependent on your team being in good positions. Every attack can then be transformed into something useful. And then finally, skill moves will be the cherry on top of your advancements on the wings, as they'll allow you to mix things up in how do you decide to exit and begin cutting inside towards the middle. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today. If this was useful, be sure to drop a like and don't forget to subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time.